In this video, we're going to talk about how to go about changing the frequency of emails and follow-up reminders that are created inside of your Mission Suite account. So, as I mentioned before, in past videos rather, all of our follow-ups are managed through drip campaigns inside of both your networking follow-up account and inside of your networking follow-up group and inside of your referral bench group. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with this networking follow-up group, and we'll start there. So what we're going to do is we're going to hover over automation, and then we're going to come down and we're going to click on drip campaigns. So your drip campaigns here, this is where, of course, as I mentioned in past videos, your talked about getting together again campaign is here, and then immediately after you add somebody to this group, the follow-up email is going to go out. 3 business days later, you're going to get an email to a follow-up reminder to make a phone call to this person, assuming that they haven't gotten back to you. The didn't talk about getting together again campaign, exact same thing. Immediately after, the email goes out. A few business days later, you're going to get a reminder to make a phone call. And then finally, we come down here to the gentle blow-off. There's an email that goes out immediately with no follow-up reminder for you, because the assumption for the gentle blow-off is that it's not somebody that you want to that you necessarily want to pursue a meeting with. You just wanted to reach out and say it was great to meet you. So taking a look at this, we'll start here with, we'll use the talked about getting together again campaign as our example. So what we can do is we can click on edit drip campaign number 4. And now you can see when this loads up, you can see here that that emails and task reminders are created at 10 a.m. You can see that the message goes out here, and of course, as I mentioned before, you can make those changes there. But we're going to talk about this here, because this is where those delays are created. And of course, if you want to change the delay, if you want to change when the initial email goes out, you can add a delay here as well. You can come down here, select delay, and then you can say maybe you want to do a 5 business days after you met this person, and then the first email goes out, and then for the follow-up call, maybe it's going to be 3 days after that, so we're going to make it 8 business days after you talk with that person. Whatever you might want to do, it's a simple matter of just making sure that you're going to update this. Now, the important thing to remember when you're doing this is that both of these campaign stops here, both of these campaign messages are based on when this person was created inside of this group. So if you add me at one day, if you add me, on Thursday, and we'll say 2 business days later, you're gonna have this email sent out to me, and then you want a reminder to make a phone call maybe 10 business days later. It's going to be based on that Thursday that you added me. So it's not that this is going to be 5 business days afterwards and then 8 business days after the 5. It's all going to be 8. It's always going to be number of days based on that initial date. So that's a key thing to remember here. And then, of course, you can see that we added this drip workflow number 2 called today. So let's say if for whatever reason you wanted to add a workflow, that phone call reminder to the gentle blow off campaign, you could come down here, click on edit campaign number 6. That's a gentle blow off, and then we would just add another action to that campaign. And then again, we would create a delay. So again, we'll say 3 business days. Typically, I like to use business days, of course. If your business relies on calendar days, or if you work Saturday or Sunday, then you can do that as well. And then you can add that drip workflow number 2, and it's going to be that call today workflow, and that's going to create that phone call reminder for you. So those are the things to keep in mind when you're looking at the drip campaigns for the automated networking follow-up. So now let's take a look at the referral bench, because this is a bit of a different story. Because these referral bench emails are sent out at a specific period of time, and then the next day that campaign is started over again. Right? So as you can see here, let's take a look at this 6-week referral bench meeting request. You can see here that 30 business days after they're added to the group, right, when they initially start, they're sent this initial email. And then 31 days, you can see that there's a workflow that actually restarts this campaign. So essentially what this does is it brings it all the way back to to quote 0 days being added to the group. So it takes them back just to the that first point. So that's a key thing to remember, because if we wanted to change this, what we would need to do is I'll click on edit drip campaign number 1, and let's say instead of 6 weeks, I want it to be so 30 business days is about 6 weeks, right? So given the fact that 5 business days is in 1 week, 5 times 6 is 30. It's certainly not rocket science. And so let's say maybe I want it to be 7 weeks. So instead of 30 business days, I'm going to make it 35 business days. But to make sure that this works correctly, I've got to make sure that I update this too. So instead of 31 business days, this has to be 36 business days, right? So it's still in kind of that 6-week range, and so that you want to be touching base with people. But now it's maybe 7 weeks. So maybe you just added another week in there. Maybe you pulled a week from it. So you wanted it to be 5 weeks. So instead of 35 business days, it's going to be 25 business days before the email goes out and 26 business days when the whole thing restarts. So it's a simple matter of making sure that you're doing that. If you have questions, and then of course, by the way, don't forget to save this, because it doesn't save itself. So make sure you're saving. Save early, save often is a kind of a key mentality here. But updating the frequency of these emails going out is really as simple as that. So with that, I'll wrap this up. As always, if you need help, if you need any information, there's a lot of help information in here. We've got these little question marks. We've got the show me how tools. And then if you need help, if you have questions that you need to know how to do different things, you can just come over here to the help link in the top navigation, fill out our support request form. That's the best way to get a hold of us and best way to get an answer quickly to your questions. So go ahead and you'll want to fill out that support request form, and then we'll be able to get back to you as soon as we can. So with that, I'll wrap up the video. Say thank you very much, and hope you have a great day, and let us know if you have any questions. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.